good YouTube?
2 seconds later.
It's your boy, 4TM, Marco, back with another video, no cap. It's your boy, 4TM, Marco, back with another video. And today, we here with another, reaction. You probably wondering why I switched channels. One, because the views really won't get it.
Bullshit!
Because YouTube, they kept taking out my videos. I had a bunch of videos, but it was the copyright claims on the reactions. You couldn't react to a video without getting a copyright claim. But it wouldn't be a copyright claim, and they just took on all they just took all I guess put the ad on the video. Okay, they just took everything because I don't know. I have no idea why they didn't let me post a video, but because people do reactions all the time. I don't know.
Understand, bitch. Don't understand.
I don't know if you gotta have a certain thing for that. Y'all let me know if y'all know how I can get around that. I would do one. But yeah, I was doing a bunch of videos, but I couldn't post them because they were reaction to music videos and they weren't going. I should have known that after I did the WAP one, and then plus they gave me a strike and I was only at 290 subscribers, so why'd I keep something going that's dead? But today we gonna get into another vid. We got the White Room torture, worst punishment in the history of mankind. This came out August 27th. What's today? September 19th. I thought it was still August.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
I'm tweaking. But we're gonna get into the video. I watched a couple of seconds of it to see if it was really for real, you feel me? No cap. So we're finna get into the video. Oh snap. I never stopped recording.
Bones, or perhaps ran your head under freezing cold water until you thought you were drowning. It would have been much better than the whiteness, that deafening, unrelenting whiteness. For months on end, you saw no colors at all. The cell was white, the walls, the door, and the floor. Your clothes were white, and all day and night they kept a bright white light shining. When they put food through the door, it was always the same dish. White rice on a white plate. Never did you hear any voices except those inside your head. If you wanted to use the bathroom, you had to slip a piece of white paper under the door, then guards wearing padded shoes would shuffle along silently to open the door, and then you could use the white bathroom. After months of this, you started to forget who you were. The voices in your head became real. You couldn't even remember what your parents looked like. Welcome to the world of white torture. What we just described to you is what sometimes is called an enhanced interrogation technique, and in this case what is referred to as extreme sensory deprivation. The person who suffered it is one Amir Fuck.
They want you to snitch that bad? Oh, they pressed. They are pressed.
Ravar, a former prisoner in Iran. His crime was being critical of the Iranian regime. As an activist in the late 90s and early 2000s, he said he was imprisoned and interrogated on a number of occasions. He said that he's been beaten to the extent that his bones were broken, but nothing was as brutal as white torture. The good news for him is when he got out after spending 8 months in that white room, he managed to flee Iran and move to the USA. He was lucky. Other former regime critics who have had to stay at the notorious...
Was he really? Was he really?
Just saying. Have described how some inmates were tortured to death there. Some prisoners have been executed at Evin, others had parts of them amputated. Some have been blinded, and most were kept in what has been called horrific conditions. Let's stick with Iran for a minute and hear what an Iranian journalist named Ebrahim Nabavi had to say about white torture. In 2004, he got on the phone to Human Rights Watch. This is part of the conversation. Since I left Evin, I've not been able to sleep without sleeping.
Who was Evan? Who was that? Who was Evan Narabi? Have he been in the White Room? Do he know that pain? You feel me? Have he been through the slums? Do he know what that life like? Just asking, you feel me? Yeah.
Pills, it is terrible. The loneliness never leaves you long after you're free. Every door that's closed on you. This is why we call it white torture. They get what they want without having to hit you. You begin to break, and once you break, they have control.
That boy
And
off the
then you
meds,
begin to
ain't it?
confess. Another former prisoner in one of Iranian's white cells described it like this. After 3 days, it becomes so difficult. Different people break at different times. We used to talk about when people would break. Some people broke after a few days, some could last much longer. It is absolute silence. After 3 days, I just wanted any words, even if it was swearing, even if it was a harsh interrogation. In a nutshell, that's what white torture is all about, breaking a person. It's when a government, and as you'll see, not only the Iranian government, wants a person to experience hell, and so they tell them what they want to know. It leaves no bruises, no scars, except for the ones of the psychological kind. Has this ever happened to prisoners housed in the USA? According to human rights organizations, the answer is yes. The New York Times in 2019 talked about the CIA's torture program, the enhanced interrogation techniques that have been used at Guantanamo Bay and other black sites, such as a secret prison the CIA had in Thailand. The techniques used included things such as keeping men in stress positions so they couldn't sleep for days, or waterboarding prisoners, or keeping men confined in a small box.
I would have told them to kill me. Nah. Nah. I'm just picturing that right now. Like, I can't even have no all-white room. Like, I had to paint the wall. I'm not. Hey. I wouldn't be surprised if he started ratting. Like, I wouldn't. Not be at all. Because who was going to free that man? Nobody. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, you know what? You know, he did it, you know. You know. Have you ever heard of 1, 2, 3 movies, Sean? I wouldn't be surprised, you know. I would not be surprised at all.
Where they could...
Okay, let's go.
Couldn't properly sit. The organization called European Democratic Lawyers wrote that interrogatory technicians working at the Guantanamo facility would sometimes take men and cover their eyes and ears. They then put thick gloves on the prisoners' hands and tie their feet. This kind of sensory deprivation is a kind of white torture, but it sounds more like dark torture. Still, the outcome is the same. The prisoner begins to lose his mind. A similar thing went down at Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq, and the world got to know about this after a series of photos were released. The U.S. Army would at times dress men in boiler suits, tie them, put masks over their mouths, and cover their eyes and ears. The result of the torture would always be a numbing of the prisoner's senses, so much so that they began to mentally unravel. But the British were doing a similar thing a long time before it happened in Iraq. In the 70s, people suspected of being involved with the Irish Republican Army were taken from their homes or off the streets without standing trial. They were then taken to a secret interrogation center and were put through something called the 5 techniques. Those were hooding, wall standing, deprivation of sleep, subjection to noise.
Oh, so you'll know. Okay, so these are the 5 T's. Techniques, my bad. I was gonna say T's, like they all started with a T. My bad. Don't listen to me. Listen to the video.
Boy, if you don't...
My bad.
And deprivation of food and drink. When the men were in their cells, they were handcuffed and hooded, so they were literally in the dark all the time. To make things worse, the British continuously played a recording of a hissing noise, or what's...
Okay. Back in 1, 2, 3. Okay. So it basically, imagine hearing. Like, okay. Imagine having been in a room with a flat tire. And you just hearing for like 3 days straight. Is you ratting? Or is you gonna stay solid? Y'all,
what you gonna do?
Y'all, hey, don't lie. Feel me? Me? I'm not in the streets. Sorry, no, I'm playing. I don't know what I do. But what would you do? Like, is you telling? Or is you keeping it 1,000? Just let a youngin' know. Y'all, you always call me ain't cussing. No. We not cussing.
Ability to sleep.
Family
What was
channel.
the object of this sensory deprivation? It was to
No.
cause the worst kind of depression, crippling anxiety, and after a while, hallucinations and even a loss of consciousness. The Brits used it in the Iraq War too, and imported it to the US, Israel, and Brazil. How did countries get away with this? Well, they say it's not strictly torture and more enhanced interrogation, something human rights groups have been criticizing.
Not them
for
trying to
years.
run around
That's
it
why
like,
the
no,
authorities have
they're
their
trying to
own
beat
unique
around
take
the
on
bush.
white torture. Underneath a building in the city of Caracas,
Oh,
there's
they
a
in the
place called
basement.
La Tumba, or the tomb in English. There, prisoners are kept in tiny cells that are painted white. They're not allowed any interaction with guards or other prisoners, and they can hear no sounds. All day and night, a bright light shines in their cell. And so after a while, the prisoners have no idea what time it is. Not surprisingly, there are reports of some of them trying to kill themselves. Others might suffer from vomiting, diarrhea, or hallucinations. One mother of an inmate told the media,
How do you do
"He's
that?
buried
How do you
alive,
get
practically
diarrhea
waiting
from-
to die." Could you survive white torture? We doubt it. We doubt anyone could get through white torture without succumbing to madness. Human Rights Watch spoke to a former inmate of a place called Prison 59 in Iran. That prisoner had seen the isolation cells and had this to say about them: solitary cells without losing my mind. And it's not just about what happens in the white rooms, but what happens once you get out. As one former detainee in Iran
Look at
said,
that bags on that
"There's one
boy."
person that came out, another person. Now you need to watch this: crucifixion, worst punishments in the history of mankind. Or have a look at
Oh my
this:
God.
boiling alive, worst punishments in the history of mankind.
Ooh. She don't look too good. But anyway, y'all tell me, what else should I react to if y'all want to? You know, if you don't, I'm just gonna pick it on my own. But if y'all want to see more, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hit the join notification gang. Share this video if you can, if you want to, got time. Share this video with your family, your friends, you know, even out your friends. And yeah, I'm out. Peace, dude. Alright, man, I'm gone. Nah, how should I do it? Like, should I do it like this? Should I just hit it with a little, and if I do it a little, I should flip it, right? Let's try.